The single most common question I'm asked by entrepreneurs that come and visit me is, how do I get an idea for a startup that's going to be valuable? And it's funny, but my answer is the idea isn't really going to matter. What's going to matter is why you want to start a company in the first place. Your motivation is far more important determinant of success than any idea could be. I tell this story over and over again about William Shockley and how he invented the transistor, the most important idea of the 20th century, something that has led to computers and the internet and smartphones and everything that we come to rely upon, in the electronics world today. So William Shockley, had the best idea. Okay. And it was so good, everybody knew it was going to change the world. And he had lots of offers of blank checks for money to start a company. And he did. He wanted the transistor to be his legacy. And so he was famous, and he recruited the 9 smartest people he knew on the planet to go help him start this company. And he told the people, hey, I want to move to where my mom is. I'm going to start the company there, which happened to be Palo Alto, California, and which happens to be why Silicon Valley is where it is today. Because when all these 9 people and William Shockley got to California, nothing happened. Okay, yeah, they spent a lot of money, okay, but they never produced a device. So the great idea never manifested itself, and it's because William Shockley didn't really want to start the company in the first place. His true motivation was showing everybody that he was the best scientist in the world. Because that was his true motivation, it was all about arguing with these 9 people, okay, and proving he was smarter than they were. And so nothing got done. And so the best idea in the world, even with all the money and all the smart people, didn't produce a successful startup. And that's another important example of this, is perhaps the smartest and best entrepreneur that's ever lived, Sam Walton. So Walmart is the biggest company the world has ever seen. 2.5 million people work for Walmart. And you know what Sam Walton's idea was? Sam Walton just wanted to run a store. And you know how he did that? He bought for nothing, practically nothing, a bankrupt franchise. It was a company, a franchise, that had a big manual about here's how you run the store. Well, what Sam Walton did was he started that business. He corrected all the mistakes the previous owner did that was causing that business to go bankrupt. And then he started improving on his store on a daily basis. He'd try this, see if it brought in more customers. And if not, he'd try something else. Those things that work, he kept on trying. And so he incrementally improved his business every single day. And then when he had enough money, he started a second store. And then he and that other store manager would get together every week to decide what improvements they would make. And they made improvements every week. And you know what? As more stores opened, every manager came together every Saturday morning. They decided how they were going to improve the business. And a super simple business run by a manual, they started improving, and every week that improvement made their sales go up. And it made their stores all very profitable, gave them the money to reinvest, to borrow money, to open more stores and more stores. And ultimately they said, hey, we don't need to do franchises anymore. And that's when Sam Walton created and started his own store called Walmart. Sam Walton didn't start with an idea. He just bought into somebody else's franchise and improved it at such a relentless pace that it became a super spectacular success, while William Shockley's idea, the best idea of the 20th century, didn't go anywhere in spite of all the money and in spite of all the really smart people. So it's not the idea. It ultimately comes down to the fundamental principle of entrepreneurship, what entrepreneurship has always been, and that is your ability to make some group of people happy enough that they'll gladly give you money in return. So when somebody comes in and says, how do I get an idea? I basically say, how do you make a lot of people happy? How do you know, what do you do to make a lot of people happy? Let's start there, because you know what? There are going to be a lot of options, I think, that are going to pop up from just you understanding what you already do to make people happy.